Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. What exactly is going on here? Am I sensing a little bit of drama at the White House? You know, there's certainly been reports of drama over the last 4 years. Kamala Harris's office supposedly being at odds with Joe Biden's. We've seen reports suggesting that Jill Biden is furious at Kamala Harris. You know, there's certainly been some tension, which honestly made it all that much more confusing when Joe Biden decided to hand over the nomination to his vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris. You know, that would make you think that everything's hunky-dory. I guess it was all a bunch of rumors. There was never any drama at the White House. Well, not so fast. I know that's how it may seem on the surface. That might be your immediate reaction, but if you dig a little bit deeper and if you're paying attention to what's happening, it feels almost as if Joe Biden is purposely trying to sabotage Kamala Harris's campaign. Sounds a little bit crazy, right? Well, not so much. As Joe Biden does it again, Joe Biden steals the spotlight from Kamala Harris, appearing for a press conference at the same time as Kamala Harris is doing a public media event, which is now the second time that he's done that, except this time it's even worse, because in that press conference, Joe Biden completely counters the narrative that Kamala Harris is trying to spin. I mean, truly devastating stuff. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so you guys aren't going to believe this. Kamala Harris is playing politics as per usual, and recently she decided to tell the press this.
The other point I'd make is that there's a lot of mis and disinformation being pushed out there by the former president about what is available, in particular to the survivors of Helene. And first of all, it's extraordinarily irresponsible. It's about him. It's not about you. And the reality is that FEMA has so many resources that are available to folks who desperately need them now, and resources that are about helping people get back on their feet and rebuild and have places to go. You are entitled to these resources. People are entitled to these resources, and it is critically important that people apply for the help that is there to support. That all of those resources were created for just these kinds of moments in an emergency situation, knowing that folks are entitled to have the relief that they so rightly need at this moment in time. So listen to your sheriffs around the places that have been impacted by Helene. Listen to your local sheriff who's going to tell you straight about what's available to you and how, for so many reasons and ways, there are no conditions attached to the relief that's available to you.
Oh, woe is me, I'm a victim. Ron DeSantis is now ignoring me, politicizing the response to Hurricane Helene. Ooh, Ron DeSantis, evil MAGA guy, is refusing to cooperate with the federal government. That's essentially what she was saying. He's playing petty politics and rejecting calls from the White House. And of course, without question, the entire liberal media apparatus ran with the narrative, how dare he? That's pretty much what's led the conversation early this morning. And then Joe Biden shows up, oddly enough, not only stealing the thunder from Kamala Harris as she's doing her whatever The View interview, but then essentially rebuking her claim that she made earlier that morning.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday. And I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Ron DeSantis is doing great. In fact, he gets appreciation and credit from Joe Biden. Holy freaking moly. There's two possible explanations here. Explanation one, Joe Biden is just as senile as ever and just doesn't know. Totally reasonable, by the way. And so maybe he didn't know that Kamala Harris was attempting to craft this narrative, or maybe he did know, and he's purposely trying to upstage her and sabotage her. Honestly, I don't really give a crap which one it is, because at the end of the day, it serves the same purpose. Joe Biden essentially confirms that Kamala Harris is a liar, and she's accusing Ron DeSantis of being political and politicizing another crisis, when she, in fact, now is provably doing exactly that. Ron DeSantis is working with the federal government. He's speaking with the actual president, not the one pretending to be a president, because she's in the middle of a campaign that she's currently tanking in. You know, I think Ron DeSantis hit the nail on the head in his response.
She said, moment of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone calls himself a leader, says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations. These are the height of emergency situations. It's just utterly irresponsible, and it's selfish, and it's about political gamemanship. What's your response?
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me. But I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this. I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign.
Seems like a pretty valid point now, doesn't it? All of a sudden, Kamala Harris has to be involved in this process? What experience does she have? Who is she exactly? And why is it necessary for her to be involved? Oh, she's the vice president. Okay, well, Ron DeSantis is clearly in communication with the president and probably all the people in charge of disaster response at the White House and federal government. Why does Kamala Harris need to be front and center? Well, very simply because she's trying to politicize it. She's doing photo op after photo op, trying to appear as the savior of the universe in this time of crisis, and Ron DeSantis doesn't want to play that freaking game. I don't blame him at all. And honestly, the way I'm looking at this thing, I think it's the Ron DeSantis curse. We've seen it a million times before. Every single time the media tries to go against this guy, they lose in spectacular fashion. I have to admit, Ron DeSantis as a politician is kind of a bulletproof wall. They're always trying to misrepresent him, cast him as some sort of evildoer, but it fails miserably every time. And like I've said previously, that's probably due to the fact they try to use the same tactics that they use against Donald Trump, targeting people like Ron DeSantis, but obviously it doesn't work, it doesn't translate in the same way. And I think now Kamala Harris has been completely exposed here. She has no ground left to stand on the issue of the other side is trying to politicize things. That narrative is over, and now thanks to Joe Biden, it's clear to everyone that she's the frickin' liar. It's yet again another totally embarrassing moment for the Kamala Harris campaign, as they miserably fall flat on their face in yet again another tactical misstep. And now I guess the question is, I wonder how Kamala Harris is going to get herself out of this one. Well, she's already responded.
Now, he said this morning, you've never called regarding any of the storms Florida has had since you've been vice president until apparently now, and called it political. What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, I have called and talked with, in the course of this crisis, this most recent crisis, Democrat and Republican governors.
Governor Ron DeSantis says, well, you've never really been involved before, so why would you be involved now? Obviously, the answer is it's campaign season. And her response is, I called governors during the most recent hurricane. You mean the one that happened last week while you were on the campaign trail and you didn't show your face until 4 or 5 days later just to do a bunch of photo ops? When during the actual crisis, you were busy doing podcasts talking about abortion. How completely idiotic. I'm pretty sure most people with their heads screwed on straight will be able to see right through this one. Kamala Harris remains a complete and utter disaster. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.